Hi there, Joe Shannon here again from Shannon Law Group. This will be a unique video in that I'm going to talk to you about why you don't need me or another attorney to help you with your case. This is discussing how to settle your own case without a lawyer. You're probably asking, why would a lawyer with over 30 years of experience educate the public on why they don't need a lawyer? Before we get into all that stuff, I want to make sure, introduce my book, How to Settle Your Own Auto Accident Claim. You can get this book off our website at shannonlawgroup.com, or you can text me at 312-847-2428. That's 312-847-2428. And put the word settle in the text. We'll send you a free copy of this so that you can make sure and settle your own case if it meets the criteria that I'm talking about. The reason why I wrote this book is not for us to make money. It's to help people like you who've been involved in a smaller crash and give you the tools to deal with the insurance company on the other end or with your own insurance company. So again, text me at 312-847-2428 with the word settle, and we'll send you a copy of this for free. When do you not need a lawyer to settle your case? Well, here's a couple of criteria. You get into what they call a fender bender, where there's little damage to the vehicles. And all you're talking about in the dispute is a property damage dispute with your own carrier or with the other carrier. So you have a case in which your vehicle had minor property damage, but enough to be a problem. For example, you've just bought a brand new car. You got hit by the negligence of another person, and the value of your car went down. How do you handle those cases? Well, first of all, look at our book, because we put it all in there. We coach you in the book about how to deal with the insurance company. What are the other cases? Well, if you have minor injuries, for example, you don't go to the doctor right away within the first 2 or 3 days because there's not really an acute injury. Now, our firm usually handles cases involving serious, permanent, disabling injuries or wrongful death, those types of cases, because those are the type of cases that you do need a lawyer for. Those are the type of cases where you're dealing with higher stakes. In the type of case I'm talking about, you may have missed 1 day of work. There's some scratches on your car. There's minor property damage. You only had a visit or two to the doctor. You're fine after a week. These are the type of cases where, in my opinion, you probably don't need a lawyer. And those are the type of cases that you just get a copy of our book, read up on it, and then figure out a way to settle your own case. Question number 2, how long do you have to settle your case with the insurance company? A really good question. Now, I'm making this video in Illinois. If you're not from Illinois and you're watching this video, thank you for watching it. But every state has their own what they call statute of limitations. That's the amount of time that you have to file your case in a court before it's forever time barred. When we make these videos, we want to make sure that people understand that every case has a statute of limitations. The moment the crash happens, that's when the clock starts ticking. So in Illinois, for example, for a personal injury case, your typical personal injury case, it's usually 2 years from the date of the crash. So there's exceptions, but it's usually 2 years from the date of the crash. Now, if a government employee is involved in the negligence, or a government agency or a public agency, there's a thing called the Tort Immunity Act. Those are shorter time limitations. And also there's different limitations if you're hit by a CTA bus or those types of things. So you have to understand exactly what those limitations are when you're dealing with those claims. And a lawyer may be needed for that. If you're not from Illinois, make sure that you either consult with a lawyer or do the study to make sure you know what the statute of limitations is for your case. Typically, in property damage cases in Illinois, the statute of limitations is longer, but why would you want to wait that long to resolve your claim? You want to resolve it right away. You want to make sure that you come to a decision. Now, a lot of times, what people don't understand is that when you get into a crash with somebody, they may be uninsured. They may not have insurance to cover it, but luckily you do through either your underinsured motorist carrier or your uninsured motorist carrier. So say, for example, you're driving down the roadway and you're hit by an uninsured motorist. They don't have any insurance, but you do. You can submit your claim to your own insurance company. And they're supposed to treat you a lot better. You know why? Because you paid them a premium. You expect to be treated by somebody that you paid money for that type of coverage to treat you better. Hopefully they will, and hopefully they'll make sure that you are fully paid for your damage to your vehicle and for if you have slight injuries for that injury. You are in a crash. What happens next? There's a number of things that you should do, and they're in the book. You want to, number one, contact the authorities. You're at the scene, contact the police to make sure that they come in and prepare a report. So you have a report to give to your insurance company, to the other insurance company, and in that way, the police officer takes the statements of everybody, gives somebody a ticket. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. They'll determine pretty much in a smaller case who's going to be on the right side of the case and who's going to be on the wrong side of the case. But you want to make sure and document it. How do you do that? Contact the authorities, police department. Make sure that you go, if you have injuries, go to the doctor. If there's witnesses, locate them, identify them, get their address, get their phone number, get their statements if you can. Get the other side's insurance information. Make sure that you take some photographs of the vehicle right after the crash, the other vehicle and your vehicle. Make sure that you do all investigation you can. If the lights were sequenced a certain way, take a video of that. Take a video and some photographs of the scene. If you have any physical injuries, make sure you have pictures taken of those. Like if you have bruises, if you have scrapes, if you have any type of injuries, swelling, make sure that you get copies of that. You want to make sure that you want to contact your insurance company immediately. Let them know that there's a claim outstanding because, again, the other side may be uninsured. You want to make sure you put your claim on, because if you have an insurance policy, you're required to give them prompt notice of any sort of claim. Also give notice to the other side's insurance company of a claim. Another question that comes up a lot of times is, should I give a statement to the insurance company? Well, for your own insurance company, that is a privileged statement. That is your own insurance company, when they take your statement, that's supposed to be a private statement to them because they are basically representing you. Any statement to the other insurance company is not a private statement. But be very careful when you give those statements because that will be used against you. So make sure that you have a claim that does not require a lawyer, it's small, etc. Now, if you have a concussion, that is not a small injury. Concussions are very real brain injuries. And sometimes it takes longer for those to develop. Sometimes it takes a number of weeks to find out what the total ramifications are. That make sure that you see a doctor, make sure that you do exactly what you're supposed to do, because the brain, other than your heart, is the most important organ in your body, because in our competitive environment and economy, having a brain that is somehow damaged, even by 1% or 2%, is a huge, huge problem for you in the future. So make sure if you have a concussion that you seek treatment and that all treatment is done before you even think about settling a case. All right? And if you do have a serious concussion, then you should consult a lawyer. Who pays the medical bills after a crash? That's a very good question. If you have health insurance, what you should do is use that health insurance. Submit your medical bills to your health insurance carrier. They're required to pay them, regardless if it was an automobile crash or not. Submit those bills to the carrier because they're used to handling those claims. Now, you may have what they call medical payment coverage through your insurance. Now, obviously, if there's a negligent person in the crash, under Illinois law, for example, they're required to pay for any medical bills that were incurred that were reasonable and necessary due to the crash. However, they're not required to pay those bills until a judge forces them to, or they voluntarily agree to settle those claims. That is a long process. So submit them to your own health insurance carrier. You already paid the premiums. They've got to pay it. Make sure you get all the medical treatment you need. Submit it to your own health insurance carrier. Use your medical payment coverage to cover your copays, to cover any type of out-of-pocket costs that you have. That is money that's coming to you from a premium you previously paid. So make sure you check with your own insurance company to see how much medical payment coverage you have. Here's the question. how do I resolve the claim with the insurance company on the other side? Well, you need to put your case together. But here's what you do. You need to put together your packet for the insurance company. It includes police reports, it includes the witness statements, it includes all your medical bills, all of your medical records. The other side's insurance company may ask for a release to get all your medical records. I wouldn't give it to them. Why would you want to give them the keys to all of your medical history, etc.? Don't do it. Give them the relevant medical records from the crash that you get them from your own doctor or from your own insurance company. Get the property damage estimates. You're going to see this a lot because we live in a country where a lot of people are driving without insurance. It's against the law in Illinois. Everybody that drives a vehicle is required to have at least $25,000 in liability insurance, which is pennies, nothing. A lot of people don't. If you're watching this video and you've been hit by an uninsured motorist, well, guess what? You follow the law, you follow the rules, and you have uninsured motorist coverage. So what you do is you take all the documents I just talked about, the police report, the medical bills, medical record, your lost time, your witness statements, your family statements, all of that, and you give that to your uninsured motorist carrier. That's your own insurance carrier. And they're required to make sure that you are put back in the place you were prior to the crash and to pay you a fair settlement for your property damage and your personal injury. That you get money from your own insurance company for the total loss if you had collision coverage. And then you want to get the difference between that, which is the fair market value, and the replacement cost from the other side. So there's a lot of stuff that goes in with that. So you want to make sure that you make claims with both insurance companies. Now, your own insurance company is required to deal with you in good faith. They just are, because you've paid a premium to them. You're their client. You have a contract with them. They're required to treat you in a different way. The other bad driver's insurance company typically does not treat you like that because their client is the bad driver. And their only job is to make sure and protect him or her or the company, not you. So that's why it's going to take so long for you to get a resolution. And don't really expect a fair resolution there. You're going to get some sort of resolution that's in between when you represent yourself. But be resigned to the fact that you're going to do the best job you can, because a lot of these cases don't require a lawyer. The insurance company has made you an offer. Big question, do you take it? Well, here's my only bit of advice on that. If you are not done treating for your medical treatment, do not settle. If it's a personal injury claim, you have typically a 2-year time to do that in Illinois. Again, if you're in a different state, take a look at the law, call a lawyer in your state, ask the question, go to your bar association, nearest bar association, and find out what the statute of limitations is. But do not settle until, like, for example, you have a concussion, it's lasted for 1.5 years. This is a case that you should have with a lawyer, because it's a sophisticated case. A lot of times, insurance companies for the bad driver or the bad driver company will not understand or will not give you fair value for a concussion, a head injury, a brain injury, for a lot of reasons. It doesn't match up to their data. It doesn't match up to if you have a small amount of medical bills, but you've lost 2% of function of your brain. That's worth a lot of money. And make sure that you ask for that amount of money before you settle. Again, if it's an uninsured motorist, you're dealing with your own insurance company, and that process is different. For example, if you're uninsured motorist carrier, your insurance carrier you have a dispute with them about how much the value of your case is, you can go through what they call arbitration. The arbitration will determine how much money you get from your own insurance company. You'll submit all of the information we talked about, the police report, medical bills, medical records, W-2, 1099s, witness statements. If you're going to get into an arbitration setting, you're more than likely going to have to get a lawyer for that, because you're going to be dealing with a a lawyer who's the arbitrator, a lawyer on the other side. There's evidentiary rules, all those types of things. In a property damage type of case, you may end up what they call an appraisal situation. And an appraisal situation is determining what the property damage is for your vehicle. It's rarely done, but it can happen in Illinois, an appraisal process. Again, these things typically are resolved, but again, don't really expect a huge settlement if you represent yourself. But sometimes we have to do that. We have to represent ourselves. And that's why this 30 plus year veteran lawyer is giving you this video and this book, because sometimes you're going to have to settle your own auto claim. And we'll send you this book if you just text the word settle to 312-847-2428. That's 312-847-2428. Just text the word settle, and we'll send you a free copy of this book, or go to our website, which is at shannonlawgroup.com, and look for it among the other resources.